In January 2007, PETA conducted an undercover investigation of the Mepkin Abbey Monastery in South Carolina, where Trappist monks run an egg production operation. On these supposedly peaceful and holy grounds, our investigator discovered 38,000 chickens confined in a living hell. My name is Dan Payton, and I'm a researcher for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I've also been a devout and observant Catholic my entire life. What our investigator documented at Mepkin Abbey is appalling, and I find it especially disheartening that supposedly pious and merciful monks are so cruel towards animals. These chickens are crammed 4 to a cage. They don't even have enough room to spread a single wing. It doesn't take a theologian to take one look at this and recognize that these conditions are a mockery of what God intended for these birds. Chickens are social, intelligent animals, and this type of confinement that denies them all that is natural and important in their lives is nothing less than torture. Pope Benedict XVI, when asked about the rights of animals in a 2002 interview, expressed his concern about the industrial use of animals. He said that when hens live so packed together that they become just caricatures of birds, this degrading of living creatures to a commodity seems to me, in fact, to contradict the relationship of mutuality that comes across in the Bible. They will spend their whole lives this way until they are no longer considered productive, until they become what the industry and even the monks call spent hens. Then they are shipped out to the processing plant to be killed for soup or dog food because their bodies are so bruised and broken that their flesh can't be used for anything else.
Crider is the name. Crider is a big outfit that comes and gets what they refer to as spent hens. They get those birds, and then they sell them to Campbell's Soup.
So the brothers don't eat the chickens when they're after they die.
No, we know them too well. That was like eating your aunt's salad.
Because they are sentenced to live their entire lives in tiny wire mesh cages, their muscles and bones waste away from lack of use, and broken legs and other debilitating injuries are inevitable.
Their legs are obviously broken.
Two chickens dying?
They're on their way out. I might have to finish them off.
How would you do that, with an axe?
Here, we see one monk refusing to attend to dying chickens with broken legs. After removing them from the cages, he leaves them to suffer on the ground while he continues collecting eggs.
Those two were still moving around. I didn't know if you wanted to put them down. They look like they were sort of in distress a bit.
Right. I'll tell you, I'll get to them eventually.
What our investigator captured offends much of what is dear to me about my faith. The way these men of God act towards his creatures flies in the face of Christian mercy and compassion for the weak. The chickens at Mepkin Abbey have been debeaked in a painful and debilitating mutilation.
They're all beaked. They're all what they call debeaked. I think it's done in the entire industry.
This is what the traumatic debeaking practice looks like. The chickens at this monastery are also subjected to a process called forced molting, in which they are starved for up to 2 weeks to shock their bodies into yet another egg-laying cycle. One brother even had the audacity to compare forced weeks of starvation and dehydration to the monk's own choice to fast for a day for spiritual purposes.
Well, so there's three of these houses?
Yeah, when you're operating at full capacity, I think one of them is recovering from molting.
From molting?
Molting?
What's that?
It's like a fast. Like a long fast where the chickens stop laying eggs for a while.
Right.
Because they're not eating. And then they cycle them back in.
The Catholic Catechism teaches we should recall the gentleness with which saints like St. Francis of Assisi treated animals. It is contrary to human dignity to cause animals to suffer or die needlessly. It is deplorable that the monks at Mepkin Abbey are participants in this cruel industry, and what is even more shameful is that they misrepresent these eggs as animal care certified and tout their centuries-old commitment to the caring cultivation of the earth and its creatures. These are some of the dark sides of the egg industry. Unfortunately, there are only dark sides. Most consumers aren't even aware that baby male chicks who have no use to egg producers are systematically killed in grinders or suffocated as soon as they are hatched. This would surely offend Christ, who in one gospel compared his love for humanity to the devotion a mother hen has for her chicks. Whether you're a conscientious Christian, a compassionate member of any faith, or a caring consumer, please do the right thing and go egg-free.